Hey guys, welcome back for another Alliance War, this time for Loki's taking on TCN. The bans for this war are Scorpion, Omega Red, and Kitty Pride. I will be going in with a team of Apocalypse, America Chavez, and Cable. Cable will not be taking any fights, he's just along to boost up Apocalypse. In Section 1, I'll be on Path 5. I'll also be taking the shared Rintrah fight and the Moleman on Node 23. Then I'll be moving over to the Doom on 26. Then over to Path 8 in Section 2, also taking the Ikaris shared fight. And then on Boss Island, I'll be taking the Apocalypse on Conflictor. So, trying something new with this war. Going to be talking through my strategy for each of these fights, my worries, my backup plans if I have one. Not totally sure how worth it's going to be for everyone, so just let me know in the comments your thoughts on this. I'll put timestamps in the description for this just to get around it if it's not worth it to you. So first up, we have Sersi on Right Back at It, Force of Will, Ebb and Flow Knockdown. The dual nodes of Force of Will and Right Back at It means the attack tactic is not going to allow me to place Neutralize on her and put that with Right Back at It. That means I'm going to have to bait out heavies, which means she's going to have glancing a lot. I'm going to be using that to my advantage. I'm going to be abusing all the regen she gets from her signature ability while she's glancing with MD and just spamming special 2s, special 3s, whatever I have. As long as you're not fully chaining into a special, the Fate Seal gets around her glancing. I'm not totally sure why. Chavez also seems to be able to get around the glancing with the very first part of her heavy. Once again, not sure why. The biggest worries for me this fight are her SP1 stunning me, and then her just comboing me and critting until I'm dead. The other is me just being absent-minded and forgetting that she's debuff immune and expecting her to get stunned. Other than that, I expect this fight to go really straightforward. Next up, we have Nick Fury on Heavy Hitter. Pretty much anytime you see me taking Nick Fury with Apocalypse, I'm going to be going in with Double Edge to remove his ability to put bleeds on me. That is always my number one concern with Nick Fury, is that insane bleed he can put on you if he ends with the light. Other than that, this fight, it's pretty much just making sure you have power going into his second life. Due to Heavy Hitter, you'll never really get an easy opening. You have to intercept him or throw a special with an intercept. There is a small window after his heavy where you can get in. I'm not comfortable with it. I haven't really tested it, but it's available if you can find it. Next up, we have Chavez versus Rintrah. I am going to have a guidance here, so I don't have to worry about Right Back at It. My biggest concern here is his crit resistance and his energy resistance. My hope is that the Fury from Ebb and Flow Knockdown will be able to counteract that. Yeah, my strategy here is going to be getting up at least one, if not two, negative zones to counter out any regen he gets. Neutralize will be active in this fight from the attack tactics, so we shouldn't have to worry about him getting those power gains. I have been hit by his special 2 so many times that if it comes up, I'm going to probably block it. The prowess he gets on this node could kill it even if I don't have any ruptures on me. It's not something I want to risk. I'll just use a potion. Yeah, beyond that, it's just typical Chavez fight. Nothing really to worry about. Just make sure you're throwing special 2 with the Ebb and Flow Knockdown Fury. Then we have Apocalypse versus Moleman. I will have an Odin Shock pre-fight, so I don't need to worry about the damage from that. I do have to worry about the insult to injury from any of those debuffs, though. I will admit that I went into this fight misunderstanding Moleman's kit. I thought when he shrugged a debuff, he got the mole mass, but it's when the debuff is placed on him. He does have 70% chance reduced chance against mutants, but there's still a 30% chance that he will get that mole mass and you can no longer hit his block safely. I thought it was just when he shrugged it, so that was my misunderstanding going into this fight. But realistically, I'm going to be slow playing at the beginning to get Incinerate immunity on Apocalypse, so I don't have to worry about insult to injury in that half of the fight. Other than that, it's going to be just getting APOC specials up, trying to keep those debuffs active. Another one of my big worries here is XL champs versus XL champs in their dashbacks when trying to bait out specials. It's such a large window that they sometimes just refuse. And with aggression prowess, if I get stuck in a corner and have to block a special, it could hurt. Other than that, yeah, I mean, it's straight up Apocalypse Moleman. We'll have to watch the power gain since I can't hit his blocks. I was expecting to be able to just push him to a special 2 and he'd never get mole mass, but I was mistaken. Now we roll up to a rank 5 Doom on Hazard Shift Conflictor. This is the reason why I wanted APOC to both have Incinerate immunity and the Odin Shock pre-fight. Well, the biggest worry here is obviously not being fully shock immune, and Doom just slaps you to death. So in the shock phase, I'm going to be playing as slow as possible, trying to build up power and staying away from him. There's really not much I can do there. If he throws a special 1, also just going to be backing away and trying to never hit him. I'm not concerned about the armor break. It's going to add a little bit extra damage, but it's not nearly as bad as getting stuck in the corner and slapped. The Incinerate immunity means if I slip up on a special 2, it's going to hurt, but it's not going to kill me due to the Incinerates. I will be going in with the Power Start 1 here with Mutant Power Back Boost to get my special 2, special 1 spam going. But realistically, with Conflictor and APOC shutting that down, there's not a whole lot to worry about. It's just the block damage and watching the shocks. Just slow playing it as much as possible and just going from there. In section 2, we have America Chavez versus Gorr. Going to be going in with the Power Start 1 here as well. Just getting him Fate Sealed so he doesn't get richer. Then I'd need to get up some negative zones to at least reduce his power gain from that. The biggest worry here is not keeping up the negative zones and also not keeping up the neutralizes or having a special available, because I do not want to take his special 2 into the block while he has all those shadow magic buffs available. Otherwise, Chavez is not going to be able to heal from her SB2 with the Dark Dimension. It's just going to be a massive drain. I need to be able to throw specials as much as possible. Need to put on Mystic Power Back Boost as well, just so I have it available at all times. Chavez versus Ikaris. The worry here would be if he gets too many bars of power and Aspect of Evolution allows him to gain buffs through the neutralizes. He'll once again need to make sure we have negative zones up to reduce his power if that does happen, since Chavez doesn't have any natural buffs of her own to take advantage of Rich Get Richer. Going to be going in Power Start 1 just to make sure we get those energized buffs from him removed. Honestly, my biggest worry here is pushing him to a special 2, and then my natural instincts to try and dex it kick in, and I just eat it, because, you know, it lasts forever. It happens against him, it happens against War Machine. I don't know what it is, it's just instincts every single time I dash back. Other than that, Chavez should just dominate this fight. Finishing up, we have America Chavez versus Apocalypse. I do have a guidance for this fight, so I don't need to worry about Conflictor at all. America Chavez has no other debuffs, so nothing to worry about there. Once again in this fight, I just want to have specials available at all times, which means throwing special ones, activating new dimensions, getting those power gains, fate sealing his buffs from the global, just throwing as many specials as I can. Now, since this is my last fight, I don't need to worry about actually evading any of his specials. Special 1, Special 2, just going to take it on the block. No need to get fancy, no need to risk it. It just gives him extra buffs for us to use as Mystic Dispersion food. Just a straightforward fight. Even if you do give him Puncture Prowess, it's not the worst thing. It will hurt, but you have the SB2 in Dark Dimension to heal that back up. Just always something to keep in the back of your mind. But yeah, I mean, once again, just a pretty straightforward fight that you don't need to worry about with Chavez, because she doesn't have any debuffs and she can shut down the defensive global. So first up, we have this Sersi on Force of Will. Ebb and Flow knockdown right back at it. Due to Force of Will, the attack tactic Neutralize will not work here. Fate Seal will still work. So I'm pretty much just going to take advantage of all her buffs and let those power Mystic Dispersion to let me throw off as many specials as I can. If she does have glancing, I'm just going to back off before I throw a special. Yeah, for some reason there, it still works to Fate Seal on the very first part of the heavy. I'm not entirely sure why. There seems to be something weird going on with the interaction. I'm not totally sure what it is. But Chavez is just able to spam specials on this fight and pretty much just destroy Sersi. And one hit there to finish her off. Quick mastery change, putting on Double Edge for Apocalypse versus Nick Fury. Ebb and Flow, knockdown, heavy hitter. I tend to put Double Edge on for every single Nick Fury fight I take with Apocalypse, just to reduce the chance that he puts the light bleed on you if you mess up. I also have this for my later Apocalypse fights, as I need the, well, don't need it, but it's nice to have for those later fights. I start here with the Power Start 1, get close to an SB2, then knock him down, just so I have this big fear for the entire Special 2. And that pretty much takes out his first life, so I just need to slow play it and kill off the first life, making sure I still have a special available for when he goes into real Nick. I want to have a special just because there aren't going to be easy openings due to heavy hitter. There's a small window where you can counter his heavy while he's unstoppable, but I haven't really tested it too much and just not safe. So here I'm just going to pretty much back off and let him degen out and then throw my special. I'm not sure if this would still kill him when production gets fixed, but here, it will finish him off. So just slow playing it, staying safe, and yeah, just gonna stomp him out. One more mastery change to remove double edge, and we have a guidance placed on this Rintrah. Going to be going in with Chavez. So this is ebb and flow knockdown, right back at it, aggression prowess. If Rintrah does get to 2 bars of power and he's not super high prowess, I'm just going to block it. I've had enough issues dexing slow moving specials that it's not worth it. I'll just eat the damage. Yeah, I don't really go for 2 negative zones here because the neutralize is pretty much going to control his power as much as it can. Well, I guess I do go for it here just in case. But I really don't have to worry about Rintrah's mystical charges too much in this fight due to Chavez's playstyle, constantly using heavies and spamming specials. There we get the ebb and flow fury, get the big SB2 here, heal up a little bit, and yeah, here's that special too, and it moves so slow. Just take it on the block. Chavez has the ability to heal back up if needed, but you know, it's just 10%, nothing major. Throw that special 2 after getting that last dimension. It's unblockable, so you can just throw it into the air, don't have to do anything. For this Moleman, I do get the Odin Shock pre-fight placed on here. And just topping off Apocalypse. Testing what it is to finish him off. Don't know why I did this, because he's going to have regen from his signature ability, because he sat out a fight. So, a little bit of a waste there. I was a little surprised to see that this Moleman was rank 3. I didn't scout that out in planning. The biggest thing here is remembering that insult to injury still exists. I'm also going to be slow playing at the start just to build up the incinerate immunity. That's going to help against Dr. Doom in case I mess up on the special 2. But yeah, this is going to be pretty straightforward. The biggest thing here is you still really can't hit his block because he'll still go unstoppable. It's not going to be a major issue with Apocalypse's health pool, especially since I'm also bleed immune. Yeah, just going to be throwing special 2, then spamming special 1 after that. And just finishing off Moleman. It's so tempting to hit his block. It just wants you to do it. And here, you know, having a bit of an issue due to XL versus XL dexing windows. It's always seems to be an issue with these type of champs, just trying to get them to throw a special. But yeah, those shocks are healing us up due to the Odin pre-fight. We never have to worry about the incinerate since APOC just goes immune. And one more special will finish him off. Now we take Apocalypse up against rank 5 Doom on Conflictor, Bleed and Shock Hazard Shift. I would have liked to get a Mr. Fantastic Petrify pre-fight over here, but we just couldn't fit it. I am going to slow play the shock phase at the start. It's the biggest worry when facing Doom is he's just going to get you in the corner and slap you to death. So while I do have the resistance to the shocks, I'm not immune. So he can just come up whenever he wants to and slap us. So that's kind of why I wait for him to run in so we can get the parry off. And since it's Apocalypse, we don't have to worry about Conflictor at all. And going to be waiting out the aura just so we don't lose our Odin buff. Because ideally I want to push him special 2 so I never have to worry about the aura. Get really close here again, but he goes and blocks. But I don't go in and counter him. And here we get the special 2 and just going to block it. This is Apocalypse's last fight. It does hurt, but hurts less than him getting it on the dash back. I can't say how many times Doom has done that to me. I think him and Ma are probably up there for the lead in that category. But yeah, this fight's going really well, just slow playing it as much as you can in the shock phase so we don't have to worry about Doom's heavy. Just let him rip the special 2 into us again. One more special and he is done. So initially, this Gorr fight on 8B I wasn't too worried about, but I make 2 mistakes early on in this fight. One you'll see here is I rush in to keep this power start 1, and I do not switch over from mutant power back boost to mystic power back boosts. Ideally in this fight you want to neutralize up as much as possible and you want to have a special available. So I start off Fate Sealing there, and right now I should complete a heavy, but I don't. I just do 1 hit and launch the special 3. I also should have checked to see if he was neutralized, just so he's not getting Rich Get Richer. And now he's got a ton of buffs. We've only got 1 negative zone dimension, and for some reason we dash in the middle of the SP1. Luckily we are reducing his power gain a little bit, but we're not stopping it. But yeah, here you can see what Chavez looks like without the attack tactic, because that first hit of the heavy did like 22,000. And I believe I get another heavy in here, and it only does 9k on the first hit. But yeah, I mean, you can see what she looks like when the opponent has all those buffs, like she would in a regular war season without this tactic. She's just gonna hit like an absolute truck against a buff-heavy opponent. Luckily, those mistakes we made early in the fight don't mess us up, and we're able to get around it. Just a reminder to not rush into fights and actually take a breath and remember what your strategy was for all these fights. Here we are switching over to the Mystic Boosts. This Ikaris, it's pretty much the same thing as all the other aspect of evolution, Rich Get Richer fights I've taken with Chavez. The big worry is him getting too many bars of power and then the neutralize isn't strong enough. So ideally you just want to kill him as fast as possible, and Chavez is really good at that this season. And she'd probably still be really good at it without this tactic, because she can reverse the power gain and she's gonna start hitting like a truck every time he gets a buff. I think she gets 1,000 extra attack for each buff he gets, up to like 9. Depending on how many dimensions she has. Just trying to bait out as many special ones from him as we can. I have a tendency to try and evade his special 2. It's similar to War Machine special 1. I just instinctually dash back and get caught. We're just doing as much as we can to keep the Fate Seal up if he gets a buff. Luckily, he hasn't got one lately, so we're able to bait off this special. And yeah, he's just not having it. Rich Get Richer pushes us up to a special 3 because we have the Dex buff. So, yeah, restarting this fight with another special 3. Just delays the fight a little bit, but doesn't hurt us in our fight strategy. Special, and this special 2 here is just going to finish him off. Try to heal up the last bit of health we're missing, but yeah, kills him before we're able to finish healing. And we're going to finish off with this rank 5 Apocalypse on Conflictor Puncture Prowess. Where there is a White Magneto guidance here, so Conflictor is completely removed from this fight. It's gone. Chavez doesn't have any debuffs. Puncture Prowess could be an annoyance in this fight, but it's not going to be the end of the world. Just try and Fate Seal away those extra prowess buffs he gets. As you can see there, that Puncture Prowess is a passive, so you can't remove it. But Chavez, she has the heal with the Dark Dimension on the SB2. Just use it to your advantage and heal back some of that block damage. If you do repeat your combos, it's not the end of the world. And yeah, just trying to remove his buffs as much as possible. It's a pretty straightforward fight. Just a lot of baiting specials. Yeah, if he threw a special 2, I would block the entire thing. It's not worth it for me to risk evading it. I feel pretty good evading it, but there's just those times where it gets you, and it's pretty much lights out if you get hit by it. One more special 3 here. I think maybe a special 1, special 2 is going to finish him off here. Just having to bait a lot of specials due to the flourish buffs he gets. But I mean, Chavez, she's staying 80% health. Nothing to worry about here. Eat that block damage, heal it back up. You're going to win the fight as long as you don't just make a major mistake here. Yeah, fight's over. Chavez keeps on trucking through war. So that's it for me this war. Thanks for watching.